We're here, another busy press conference. I was saying to Darren at the top of the show, it's always good to see a packed press conference. We like the small shows, but we all love the big shows, don't we?
Yeah, I think this is what British boxing needs, to be honest with you. I think it's what we need. I think it's what DAZN need. I think it's what AJ needs. I think it's what Dillian Whyte needs. It's just a huge British boxing event.
Yeah.
And, you know, people talk about, is it the right fight? Is it that big? It's massive. I mean, we've got less than 100 tickets left. We went on sale 3 hours ago. It's going to be a complete roadblock at the O2. It's going to be a thrilling fight. And I can't wait for these guys to come head-to-head today. I don't know what we're going to get. If I'm Dillian Whyte, I'm trying to get in the head. I'm trying to stick it on him. I'm trying to send him back to Dallas, doubting where he's at mentally. But what I like about this fight for AJ is this is the fight from the first discussions that he said, I want.
Yeah.
And when I went back and said, we can't get Dillian, what about Kabayel? What about Warlin? What about Hergovich? He went, what about Dillian? Can't we go back to him? Do you know what I mean? It was the one he wanted, and I think we're gonna bring the fire out of him on August 12th.
Look, I'm not going to beat around the bush here. Are both careers on the line on August 12th?
Yeah, people talk about careers on the line. I mean, I think that AJ wants to operate at the top level. He wants to try and win the World Heavyweight Championship for a third time. And if he loses to Dillian Whyte, that seems an eternity away. I mean, look, when we sat down with Saudi Arabia to talk about the Wilder fight, they said, look, please don't let him fight on August the 12th. I said, look, he wants to. I said, okay, can you give him an easy fight? I said, he wants to fight Dillian Whyte. Please don't let him fight Dillian Whyte on August the 12th. He's fighting Dillian Whyte. No problem, just to let you know, if you lose that fight, you see this offer, it's off the table, right? I mean, that made my bum go a little bit, and you know. But for AJ, he's like, no, I need to be beating people like Dillian Whyte to prepare myself for Deontay Wilder, and I like that attitude. You know, when I went to Dallas last week, I saw a very happy AJ. I saw a guy that believes he's really gelling now with Derek James. I mean, the stable's unbelievable in Dallas. You know, now you've got Ryan Garcia, you've got the Charlos, you've got Errol Spencer.
Is that a danger? Is it a danger to have so many head honchos in
I
one
think the
camp?
opposite.
Yeah,
I personally think the opposite.
Yeah.
I think great for him to. I mean, he's watching Errol spar. And he's a student at a game. Like, it's weird that after everything that he's achieved, he's still just that hungry kid in the gym that's trying to learn, that's trying to improve, and everything that he does, like it's almost obsessive to improve. You know, it's finished training. What can we do at home that night? You know, you had seen me doing that silly thing where you're touching these lights for reactions, and you know, you're sleeping with these glasses on, and you're just trying to get those.
I might have to start doing all that.
Yeah, you got to do it all,
You're not
mate.
even trying to get the percentages. You're trying to get the 0.001 of the percentages. So that tells me this kid's hungry. It's not just like, oh, let's go and make a few quid against Dillian Whyte and Deontay Wilder. It's like, let's beat these guys. And I love the fact that he's willing to take this risk before a fight like Deontay Wilder.
How hungry is Dillian Whyte, do you think? It's a question to both of you as well.
He's going to have to be hungry, and I don't think being hungry for money is enough. He's got to have that desire, that will to become a heavyweight world champion. That's got to be his goal, because it will get tough in there against AJ, and I don't feel fighting for money is enough. He's got to have that ambition. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I think the same. I think, you know, both guys have changed a lot from that first fight. I mean, they were kind of naive back then. They were a little bit wild. But when they look each other in the eye today, nothing really changes from the kids they were back then or the kids they were in the amateurs when Dillian Whyte won. It's a competitive nature, it's pride, and it's the warrior instinct for these guys saying, and I know when AJ looks Dillian Whyte in the eye, he's thinking, I can't wait to knock you out. And Dillian Whyte's looking at him going, I can't wait to end your career. Now, whether they say that today, which I think they might.
Probably will, yeah.
But I don't, you know, there's definitely more respect now than there was back then. But they still don't like each other. And again, if I'm Dillian today, I'm trying to push the buttons. I'm trying to send him back to Dallas, just doubting himself a little bit. And I think AJ's going to enjoy it up there. I don't think he wants to be in that fight up there where he's got an opponent in the other corner that people are criticising, maybe doesn't talk English and there's no real interaction. I think he wants to get on a plane and go, I can't wait, back to the Lion's Den.
What is it about these two where there is, and I would call it hatred, I generally don't think there's a like there. Normally when you have a fight where there is a dislike, you almost grow that respect because of the fight, the battle. With those two though, it doesn't seem there's been any respect at all.
Yeah, I just think that, you know, everyone, in the world we live in today, which is like 10 or 20 interviews a day, you're going to say something that's going to aggravate someone. You know what these guys are like? What do you think about him? Do you think he's finished? Do you think he's mentally weak? Do you think he's a bit strange? Do you think? And you just answer it. Next thing, the clickbait headlines come out, and it's like Dillian Whyte says AJ is weird or mentally finished or something. And AJ sees all that stuff. So he looks at that, and then, you know, AJ will say, I think Dillian Whyte's a bum or whatever. Like, next thing, it's just, this is the world we live in. So I think the thing I'm looking forward to most today is the head-to-head. You know, because I get to see it this far away. Oh. Do you know what I mean? When these two are looking each other in the eye from here.
Has he said anything to you, AJ, about this fight as far as the needle part's concerned?
No, just this is the fight I want. I think I can get myself up for this fight. I think I can showcase the things that I'm working on with Derek James, and I think it's going to give me the impetus and the momentum to go in there, do a job on him, and go and fight Deontay Wilder.
This fight does not go 12 rounds. It does not go 12 rounds. It's impossible. And I look at that, and I think that's what, if Anthony Joshua was to win going into that Wilder fight, I think he was very disciplined. I don't think the Franklin win was a bad performance at all.
But interestingly, when I spoke to him in Dallas, he says it was a poor performance.
Really?
Yeah, if you ask him about his performance, and most fighters will try and, whether he says that publicly, he said, no, it was I was terrible that night.
Yeah.
So he acknowledges. It's not like he's trying to, no, I was good. You know, I defended well, my feet were good. He says, no, that wasn't good enough. Now, watch me under Derek James. We've had that fight, we've adapted. You know, he's sparring, before I met him, he'd just done 12 rounds with Michael Hunter, and, you know, a lot of other top heavyweights as well.
Good heavyweight.
Everyone's talking very well about what they're seeing in the gym this time around. And I think we're going to get a great fight.
Obviously, look, the focus is on AJ, but Dillian Whyte's got a new trainer as well, Buddy McGirt. He had him for Jermaine Franklin. How better do you think Dillian's going to be?
That's the same, really, isn't it? They've both had one fight with it, which, when you go into the next fight with that trainer, you're going to be much better prepared. You're going to gel more with that trainer. So I expect to see improvements from Dillian Whyte in this fight. And again, look, I was around both guys. They weren't really up for the Jermaine Franklin fight. That's the reality. They wanted to win. They trained really hard. But it's just different. This fight's different. It means so much more. And that's why, as a promoter, it's such a buzz. Because sometimes you turn up to a fight and it's like, yeah, it's a good fight, and then you get fights like this. And it's like, blimey. And you know, if Dillian Whyte knocks out AJ, very likely that's the end of the career.